Hi, I'm Noah Horton, the technical founder at unsupervised.com, the biggest vendor of unsupervised learning AI software. I've been having a conversation over and over with a lot of our customers, both those who are executives and those who are overseeing analytics functions. And I wanted to just share the conversation because I think everybody should be having this conversation right now. And actually, one of my customers used, I think, the great line to really describe it, which is the black swan ate my models. So it's a bit of a joking line for something that's unfortunately very serious right now, which is that all of the techniques that analyst teams and data science teams have really had at their disposal really are not meant for the world we're operating in right now. So really that breaks out into two main sets of technologies, modeling, particularly supervised modeling, and BI. So for supervised modeling, that's most of what data science teams do. And that's really all about taking historical data sets about what's happened in the past and then creating a model from it, basically an equation that fits a curve to those data points and can be used to predict stuff in the future. Well, the problem is that bit about historical data. All of the historical data that we have from the past, from the pre-COVID period, doesn't look a lot like our current world. And so all of the models that are based on it aren't really useful right now, unfortunately. And then during the COVID period, we're not creating enough data fast enough to be creating new models relevant to this period. And everything's changing so fast that they wouldn't be good for more than a few days anyways, even if you magically could do that. And then there's hope that those are going to be useful again when we get into the future. But the problem is it's not clear if the post-COVID world is going to look just like the pre-COVID world. All that historical data, again, just might be from a world that's different. Supply chains are going to be different after this. Customer behavior, business behavior, so many things are going to change that it's not going to be clear if any of those models we've spent so much time and effort on are really going to be useful again for a very long time, if at all. So that's what's happened on the data science world with supervised learning. On the BI side, most of what analyst teams focus on, there's two main things they do. One is just dashboarding and reporting. That's still good. That's always needed. And that's just about overall, here's the summary of what's happening. Here are the big trend charts. Well, the other thing they do, ad hoc investigation, is when people look at those overall charts and say, well, why is that happening? What are the things that are driving that? And the way that analyst teams answer those questions today is using their historical experience to come up with hypotheses. They're taking things they've seen in the past and saying, well, I wonder if this same thing happened again. I wonder if a little bit different version of that thing I saw once happened again. They're coming up with those hypotheses and they're then charting it up in their BI software to try to find charts that confirm those hypotheses. So again, the problem is that historical experience is going into that. The 10 years leading up to this that those analysts have gone through doesn't necessarily prepare them to be asking the right questions in this period. Then the other problem is the data. When those BI tools get set up, they're plumbed straight into systems like your data warehouse and your enterprise planning systems, all that kind of stuff. And so they're really statically configured on what data they're going to be able to access. Now, normally that's fine, but if you look at what's going on today, we all know that a lot of the stuff that's driving behavior is data that didn't even exist before this world. It's stuff like the case counts by counties right now, the movement restriction orders that governors are putting in place. Those are the things that are driving behavior, but those cannot actually be pulled into the BI tools easily to mate up with all of your enterprise data. So unfortunately, the tooling and the data that's at the disposal of those teams is really not what's needed right now. Now, the techniques that can work well in this period are the unsupervised learning techniques. Unsupervised learning is the branch of machine learning that's meant for when we as people don't know what's going on in a data set and we're working with the machine to try to discover it. Having the machine find patterns in the data that people can then look at to understand what's happening. So we at Unsupervised are obviously very focused on this. We'd love to talk to anybody who wants to have conversations about it, but there's other techniques as well. There are open source tools. There are a lot of ways of trying to get unsupervised learning into your arsenal. So that's really the conversation I'd love everybody to be starting right now, how unsupervised learning can help them get through the COVID period. I'm going to be doing a set of videos going forward as I keep having these conversations with customers coming back, doing more of these to talk about what those conversations are entailing, specific use cases, specific applications of how companies are doing this in the COVID world. So if we can help in any ways, we hope we can. And I look forward to talking with everybody more.